Just a few words of welcome and to frame this unusual initiative. When we decided to run for the second term here in the European Parliament, the intention was to try to deal with all these aspects usually overlooked by politics and institutions. Aspects that are informal but substantial in supporting people and improving the context. In fact, we must never forget that each of us, regardless of the professional role we occupy, is not a machine operating with assembly line procedures, but is a person trying to live their emotion to the fullest and interact with the environment around them while experiencing a benefit. This is the context in which Nature Course Nature, and in particular legislate for and with nature, was born. Because in order to take the best care of the public good, others and the environment, we must be able to establish a concrete and conscious relationship with them. So, in continuity with the work done so far, today we discuss about the institution, legislator and the environment in the Integrale deal mandate. And we have created a blend of different fields. So, we have Andrea Bariselli, CEO and Chief Scientist of Strobilo, who representing the scientific approach. We have Clarissa Sellem, curator of Talk CA and represent the world of communication. And Anais Metden Act from Xenocosm, representing the world of art. Now I'll pass the floor to Letizia Trento, who is the curator of this initiative. Thank you very much.
Hi to everybody. So this is more or less our office, apart from some plants that we have taken from outside because the space is quite bigger than our office. We started with this approach the last year of the previous mandate, because the first time that I went in the office, it was really ugly, in my opinion. And I said, it's not possible to work in a good way in such a place. And they said, what? It's okay. Then the second mandate has come and the Green Deal mandate began. So we said what we can do concretely day by day, apart from the lawmaking and so on, to be in such a disciplinate in having a relationship with nature and understand nature and try to lawmake in the better way. And we said, let's start from plant. Let's start from living and working in a jungle, in a place full of plants. The first thing was that it wasn't easy, because people that stays in European Parliament wants to lawmake, want to follow the rules and amendments, and wasn't so happy to cure plants, because it seemed it's not my job. But then we had a great team that started saying, okay, let's try. We leave the plant and let's see if they survive. And some of them died, a lot of them died in the beginning because it wasn't easy, because they became ill because it's not open air. But then the plants that you see, most of them are the plants that we have from something like 4 years. They're alive, and now that the plants are here, our offices are ugly without. It's difficult to see them without say, I'm not used to stay in a so cold place. So just to tell you that we have to start from ourselves to change and to give the example from the institutions. And so we can talk other people who do the same job. Thanks.
Hello everyone, I'm Andrea Bariselli. I'm a neuroscientist. So my job and my role today is the guy who studied the brain. And I've done for more than 20 years. And once we come to this opportunity, we use devices and technology to understand what kind of benefit people could have in contact with nature, with green spaces. But I would like to start with you with the promises to better understand what could be even those kind of benefits. And the promise is humans That's because we are all talking about humans. And the question to me is often, where do we come from? And if you think about it, we spent most of the time working on this planet on green spaces. That's because we are hunter-gatherers. So it means that our brain, our body, our cognitive status are completely set and performed to be on that kind of environment. And the funny part of this is once we think about what are the spaces that we are living so far and now, we all call smart cities, green buildings, our environment, but the problem is that our brain and even our body is not well performed to stay in that such of environment. And the first big problem is stimuli. If you think about in this moment, if you are trying to listen to me, there's a lot of noise behind, and your brain is starting to make a lot of effort to isolate the noise behind me and try to understand what I'm saying. And that's because we are completely set on stimuli. And we forgot even that stimuli are going to even change the structure of the brain. So it means that the more stimuli we give to the brain is fully adaptable. And what kind of stimuli we made, the brain is starting to change the structure, to change even the possibility to understand some kind of messages from outside. And again, we have another problem. That's because we are over-surrounded by stimuli and even by that kind of buildings. That's because in the last 15 years, we completely skyrocketing all the measurements on this planet. That's why we start with the industrial era. Human beings are completely changed. So we start from nature, we start from green environment, green buildings, and so forth. But at the end of the day, the question is not where do we come from, but the question to me is, what have we become? So what happened to us, and why today is so difficult to talk about green spaces or the value of green spaces. So it's for a short time to take a step back. All the people saying that in these days, but the very question to me and the very topic is what matters to humans is where we are. So we are a spatial species, so it means that we're not able to go with a rocket into the stars, but our brain and our body is completely, at any moment, any time, related to the environment. And coming to the topic of today, what kind of environment are we immersed every day? This is the standard office that you can find in many, corporates and many buildings, and again, many, businesses. I don't want to say it's ugly. It is for some ideas, but I don't see green. So the idea is, if we start with a greener brain, so a brain that can detect, plants, trees, and everything, and you look at an environment like this one, the question is, it's difficult to understand what could be the reaction. And the reaction is that our brain has this capacity called neuroplasticity. So the more we give to him stimuli, the more it's going to change. And we discovered that using neurosciences. So when we started this collaboration, when we started to measure, we don't just measure even the environment. We measure the impact on the environment, on human brain, on human beings. We've done even using torture machine like this one, which is called EEG, electroencephalogram, we discussed 10 minutes ago. And it's a sort of microphone that captures your brain waves, which is the way that your neurons communicate each other. And what we discover, yes, there is life in some brains, and we need even to use this to, understand how the stimuli that comes from outside, this is green environment, this is the offices that we start to measure and map out, what kind of difference there is between a green environment instead a gray or a traditional one, and what kind of output people could have on their life, on their benefits, well-being, performances, brain efficiency, and so on. The technical stuff is to cross-correlate at any time the human factors and environmental factors. So we have a lot of human factors, so we can able to measure even brains and people. We need them to cross-correlate, at any time the environmental factors. At one point, we can take out from the picture humans, and just by measuring the environment, we can predict and anticipate what kind of benefit we would have on people. And once we started, we have different KPIs that we adopt: air quality, brain efficiency, ambience comfort, and so forth. Not the sleep quality for sure. That's because I don't think that people are going to sleep in the offices, but maybe one day it could happen. And what we discover, if we take, for example, the brain efficiency, so it means how your brain is efficient and ready to be on point, there's a huge topic, for example, related to CO2. As you probably all know, CO2 is a gas that is exhaled by the breath. An adult can exhale 8 to 10 liters of air a minute, which is a lot. But the CO2, for example, is a big pollutant for the brain. So starting with higher to lower, so from lower to higher concentration into the environment, you start to lose very dramatically a lot of base activity of your brain. So when people are completely boiled, people get out and go to have a coffee, but probably you don't need coffee, you need fresh air. You need to refresh the air. That's because your brain is performed to stay outside. Once you're immersed inside, how we can find the compromise? If I have an environment which is completely gray, probably can compensate using green into the spaces to try to avoid this kind of problem. And the problem is, and the solution is yes. So we started to place and put some devices into the environment. So we're starting from the zero conditions, so no, yes, say hello to people, get the going. So we have 3 different spaces. One is gray, without plants, and the other with plants inside, and measuring what could be the difference between plants or not. And as you can see from this, generally speaking, the well-being of the people with the green environment is 25% more and comfortable, and even the performances, we have 18% less of pollutant, humidity, and even the CO2. That's because the plants are going to eat the CO2 and then give back to the humans a little benefit, which is not little if you think about your day job. Every space that we measure, as you see here, we have normal offices, instead green offices. You can see and appreciate how the benefits are at any level, at any point. So we are not trying to sell you trees and plants. We're just saying, why not? Why we need to adapt today spaces which is completely ugly or gray, and why not we try to map out even the benefits and try to invest on them and have the possibility with the numbers to explain what could be the benefits for people. And yeah, the idea is to use the data to cross-correlate to have prediction, but the most important stuff to us is that the future choices must be necessarily based on data. If we can provide data, we can take the right choices. And once we have the choices, and this is the perfect circle to us, scientists create the tool to influence the decision makers, create impact on the planet, then other data, and then other data to the scientists. So going ahead in this loop, in this circle, gives to us the idea of direction. That's because nowadays, in my opinion, direction is more relevant, important than speed. Everything is speeded up and go super fast, but the question is, where is our direction? And direction to us is to go into this new green environment. So what could be the future? Honestly, I don't know. A lot of stuff is going and happening into the world, but I'm pretty sure that our contributing using neurosciences and the right partners to us is a new tool in your toolbox to take the right decision. And to take the decision is try to make people healthier, one for the planet, especially even for us. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Clarissa. I'm the co-founder of Talksy EC with Mathieu Duchâteau. First of all, I would like to thank Marco Zullo and Letizia Trento and his office team for the opportunity to participate to this event and bring into the European institution a creative solution in order to talk about an important topic that is nature. Thank you also to Anaïs from Senocosm for your trust, and she will come and explain her artwork. We are an innovative, multidisciplinary and transdisciplinary space that spreads activities by combining culture, ecological awareness, and entertainment. We offer a new experience for learning and sharing about ecology through art, culture, and science. We find creative solutions in order to communicate about important topics because we deeply believe that art has a transformative power. We are facilitators for the communication. We create value through art, organizing conferences, roundtables, recording podcasts, and organizing and hosting events in order to develop a network. So basically what we do is, for example, the presentation of Andrea, we transform it into art in order to talk to every public, not just a scientist public or a public that is into science every day. Now, I would like to invite Anaïs to talk about the artwork, and then we can interact with this artwork. Thank you for listening.
Good morning. I thank you very much, all the team of Marco Zullo and Clarissa, for the invitation for us to exhibit one of our artwork, Phonofolium. Just in few words, I can present myself and Xenocosme. So I work with my partner, Grégory Lasserre, and together we are the artist Xenocosme. And since almost 20 years now, we are working on interactive artworks, visual and sonorous interactive artworks, where the most of the time the people are involved physically, biologically, and we want to create different kind of sensory relationships between the body, between the viewers and the artwork. Since a long time, we create hybridization between nature and technology in order to question our contemporary relationships between the body and the environment, the social environment and the natural environment as well. I would like to add that we are in an environment where the technology is more and more invisible too. So how is our relationships with the natural environment today? So through this kind of hybridization between nature and technology, all the time the technology disappears in order to enhance our relationships with a living being. So here we present Phonofolium, which is a living tree, and this tree reacts to our electrostatic energy and it creates some sound behaviors. So most of the time we speak about sound behaviors, sound characters, in order to influence the feedback of the viewer. So like human, finally, the tree could have different characters. It could be aggressive, shy, it could be delicate, it could be happy. And during the day, all the characters, these characters can evolve. And each of these sound characters could evolve according to the intensity of our electrostatic energy. For us, the question of touch is very important. I like a sentence from Merleau-Ponty, who said, "Touch is to touch ourselves." So the idea is that when I touch the plant, I can feel that the plant is alive, but I just could be aware that I'm alive too. And so the most of the time, we pay lots of attention of this idea of living interaction. And so just to be aware that we are alive every time. So I wish you to enjoy this installation during these days, and I thank you very much again for this invitation.